Hi, this is question one of the 2023 paper one for the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level Maths. If you want a copy of the notes I'm working off, just send me an email at shanetroy@gmail.com and like and subscribe to get access to more playlists. So question one here is on tax and revenue and VAT and stuff. So the first part here is 10 marker, and part A says a house is valued at 240,000 at the start of 2019. Now it says by the start of 2020, a full year later, the price of the house has increased by 8%. So if I want to know the price of the house at the end of, or the start of 2020, I need to find out what 8% of that is. Okay, and that'll be an answer. Now at the start of 2021, the price of the house has increased by a further 9%. So I'm going to actually use the answer I worked out here. The 8% is the same thing. Now, 8% is the same thing as 0.08 because 8% means 8 over 100, which is 0.08. And that gives me the amount the price has risen by. Now, if I add that back onto the original price, I get 259,200. Now, for those who can, I suppose, deal with this next bit, well, if I want to do this calculation as one calculation, I could go like 240,000 multiplied by 108%. That's 100% is the 240, and the 8% extra is the 19,200. And I'd go straight to this answer. Now, don't worry about that if that's kind of going over your head, because percentages can be pretty weird. And once you get the handle on them, it does make things easier. And just remembering that 100% is the full amount of something. And that's really all a percent means. It's out of 100. Okay, it makes it easier for our brains to handle it. Now we now know the price of the house at the start of 2021 is 259,200, and we know that over the course of 2021 it goes up by a further 9%. So again, 9% is the same thing as 0.09. So 0.09 or 9% of 259,200 is 23,328. Now, if you add that on to the cost price, you get the price of the house at the end of 2021. And that's it. That's the answer. Okay. So that's part A. Now, I'm too far. So it says here in part B, another house was valued at 460,000. 1 year later, the value of this house has gone up to 472,000. So straight away, without even seeing anything else, I see a calculation. It seems to be legit. So if I take those two numbers away, I can find out that the house has risen by 12,000. Now it says work out the percentage increase in the value of this house over the year, and then give your answer to one decimal place. So I always get mixed up with this percentage increase, but it's the new price, take away the original. So we've done that, divided by the original. Okay. So it's the 472,000, take away the 460, so that's the 12,000, divided by the original price of 460, and then to get a percentage, you multiply by 100. Now that gave me a price of 2.60. Okay, now the zero doesn't affect anything. That's the same thing as 2.6%. Now, that makes sense to me. Okay, what I say here is, does it pass the smell test? I mean, by that, if you get like 26%, like a house going up by 26% in 1 year is like, wow, I'd be in the property market. Whereas 2.6 seems like an incremental increase. So again, it doesn't, nothing is giving me any reason to doubt what's happening. So if I push on from that question, now we're into a fairly full-on one here. A third house was valued at 265,000. Over the following 4 years, the value of the house increased by some percent each year compared to the previous year. And it says here, R is an element, little r is an element of big R, which is a real number, which just means R can be any number. It could be a decimal, it could be a whole number, whatever. And it says after 4 years, the house was valued at 370,000. So straight away, you have a calculation, you could take them away. That may or may not be useful, but at least it's something. Now it says work out the value of R by setting F is equal to 370,000, P is equal to 265,000, and the T is 4. and then they give you the formula. Now this formula is in the maths tables, but they don't usually do this. They're giving you the formula. They're giving you the inputs. So put them in. Okay. So I have the formula. I have the three inputs. There are 4 unknowns in this formula. I know 3 of them, leaving only 1 unknown. So this is a solvable equation. It's just not the easiest one. So the F was the 370,000. The P was the 265. The T is the 4. So the unknown is trapped in here. And I need to use algebra to get that on its own equal to everything else. And when I do, I have my answer. So first step there I can see is, well, look, I can't really get at the power because it's being multiplied by the 265. So my first step is to get rid of that 265,000 by dividing everything on the right by 265,000. Ultimately, those two things will cancel in the next step. Now with algebra, if I do something to one side, I have to do the same thing to everything on the far side. That creates a few calculations. So this one here on the left is, actually I haven't done it here, but on the right hand side, the 265 and the 265 cancel, and that makes everything just a little bit simpler. Now here on the power of 4 is now kind of exposed to me. I can deal with that. I can do that by like 4th rooting all of the right hand side. Now if I do that to the right hand side, I have to do the same thing to everything on the far side. If you do the opposite to anything, they'll cancel. So a 4th root and a power of 4 cancel, and you're left with 1 plus r over 100 is equal to the 4th root of 370,000 divided by 265,000. Now that looks scary, but it's just a number. I mean, your calculator can convert it to a simpler number the second you want it to. I just don't particularly want to yet. Now I'm looking at it and going, right, what can I get at next? Well, the first thing I see here is I can get at the 1. So if I take 1 away from the right-hand side, that'll cancel them. I'm allowed to do that as long as I do the same thing to the far side. And then in the next step, they're going to be gone. These 1s have cancelled. I've got the left-hand side a little bit more complicated, but I'm almost there. And then I just have to get rid of this 100 on the bottom by multiplying the top by 100. That means in the next step, they will cancel, and you're left with r. On the far side, I have to multiply everything by 100 just to maintain the balance. Once I do that, okay, I end up with r is equal to, now if I put this whole thing here now in the calculator, I get 8.7. So the house has risen by 8.7%. Now, after 4 years of growth, you saw the previous part had 2.9 or 2.8%. In 4 years, an increase of 8.7, again, it passes the smell test. And just to give that to 1 decimal place, it's 8.7. And that's it. Okay, so that's the end of question 1. If you want to copy the notes I'm working off, just send me an email at shanetroy@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to get access to more playlists. Thanks, guys, and see you on question 2.